The biggest lie about cheating is that it's always about sex. Most affairs don't start in a bedroom. They start with a conversation, a compliment, a notification, a feeling. And by the time people realize what's happening, they're already emotionally invested. That's what makes cheating so much more complicated than people think, because most people aren't just chasing another person. They're chasing a feeling they lost, a feeling they miss, or a feeling they never had in the first place. When people hear the word cheating, they imagine lust, temptation, physical attraction. And yes, sometimes that's part of it, but psychology tells a much deeper story. Many people cheat because they feel emotionally disconnected long before anything physical happens. They stop feeling seen, valued, desired, appreciated. And when another person suddenly provides those feelings, it becomes difficult to ignore. That's where the danger begins. Not with sex, with attention. Because attention is powerful, especially when someone feels emotionally starved. This isn't only about men, and it isn't only about women. Both sides are vulnerable to the same psychological trap: validation. A man may feel admired by someone new. A woman may feel deeply desired by someone new. And suddenly, the emotional high feels exciting, almost addictive. Not because the new person is better, but because the attention feels new. And novelty is one of the strongest dopamine triggers in the human brain. That's why so many people confuse excitement with compatibility. A new connection feels intense because it's unfamiliar, not because it's deeper. The scary part? Modern culture makes this easier than ever. Dating apps, social media, direct messages, private conversations. Temptation is no longer something people have to search for. It's sitting in their pocket all day. One notification, one conversation, one emotional boundary crossed, and suddenly something harmless becomes something dangerous. But here's the truth nobody likes hearing. Most people who cheat aren't running toward happiness. They're running away from discomfort. Insecurity, loneliness, boredom, fear of aging, fear of not feeling attractive anymore, fear of feeling ordinary. A new person temporarily hides those feelings, but temporary excitement cannot solve permanent insecurities. That's why many people who cheat eventually discover something disappointing. The new relationship didn't magically fix their life, because the real problem was never the other person. It was the emotional emptiness they were trying to escape. And that's why some people repeat the same pattern again and again. Different partner, same emotional problem. The truth is, healthy relationships eventually become calm, predictable, comfortable. And for people addicted to emotional highs, peace can start feeling boring. But mature love was never supposed to feel like constant fireworks. It was supposed to feel safe, stable, trustworthy. And those things aren't always exciting, but they're incredibly valuable. That's why the strongest relationships aren't built by people who never feel temptation. They're built by people who understand temptation is normal, but acting on it is a choice. A feeling is not a command. An attraction is not an obligation. A temptation is not a decision. Character is what determines the decision. And maybe that's the lesson behind all of this. People don't destroy relationships because they find someone attractive. Everyone finds people attractive. Relationships get destroyed when temporary validation becomes more important than long-term trust. Because attention fades, excitement fades, dopamine fades. But trust? Trust can take years to build and only moments to lose. So maybe the real question isn't, why do people cheat? Maybe the real question is, what are they trying to fill inside themselves that no relationship can fix for them? Because at the end of the day, the people who stay loyal aren't always the people with fewer opportunities. They're the people who understand that no amount of outside attention can replace inner stability, and no temporary thrill is worth losing something genuinely meaningful.